Hey guys, this is Danny.
And this is James from TDB, bringing you episode number 145. So today we are going back to the Pu'erh, back to the dark, dank Pu'erh.
The dark side.
Yeah, we're drinking some old, well not that old, about 10 years, 11 years old Pu'erh that's been stored in Hong Kong. It's nice and matured. I've had this once already. This is a sample sent to us by Toby. So thank you, Toby, who's based over there in Australia, of all places. But he got this from Hong Kong.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you can see nice dark brown leaves.
Yeah.
So the tea is
Clearly
brown
aged.
Changtai with stamp and with barcode. I'm not really sure what those mean, but I will take that as a good sign because things with stamps and barcodes are often good.
I've been thinking about getting a stamp and barcode to verify my authenticity and credibility as well.
Yeah. I was thinking about getting it just tattooed right in my face.
Right. That's the future. on futurism on TDB, we're branching out into new topics of discussion.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to just give this
Perfect.
one long rinse,
Yep.
and then I'm going to get to the tea. So the first steep that we drink, we may get a little bit of storage flavor there, which is perfectly normal. A tea like this, we'd kind of been drinking some lighter teas. A tea like this, we'd expect it to steep out for quite some time.
Right. Yep, very true. Beautiful liqueur. Let's give it a smell. So. Really nice.
So a little bit of sort of those camphorated fruits that you can sometimes get. Yeah, lychee, long on. So I'm just going to keep the steep times real short here.
Great. Looking forward to this. It's fun. So we a week and the week before we filmed our episodes. We filmed them in the same day. We filmed them about an hour ago. And we had a horrifically disgusting tea on episode 143. Actually, 2 teas that came from these fine plant taking care of hands. Then we had
You told me it was monkey picked.
Then we had a delicious white tea.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of getting into the big leagues here with some aged Pu'erh. Now, the thing about that is that when you're at home doing your tea sessions, this is something that we that Scott really, I think, hammered into us when we visited him in Bend, that you kind of want to start your tea day slowly. And we're definitely doing that. We started with a horrible tea to start.
But it was light, and we didn't drink much of it.
Very true.
Yeah.
This is nice and hot.
Yep. But, to Denny's and Scott's point, I guess, it's that if you were to start with the stronger tea,
Right.
then it would be really, really just very difficult to taste the other tea. Kind of like if we had kimchi before every TDB episode. TDB episodes would be very different.
That's very true.
And I think we'd have problems tasting just about every single tea.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I do love kimchi, though. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
It's definitely light. In terms of the texture, it's not quite developed there yet.
A little bit of chocolatey tones to it. It's not overly dirty, or at least no, not overly dirty. It's not overly. I'm not getting too much storage taste of it. Maybe a little bit.
No, I'm not really at all. And yeah, the chocolatiness is interesting because that's kind of an end of the tip of my tongue flavor, and it's kind of coming in late. But yeah, there's a little bit of that sort of bitterness.
Yeah. And I get a little bit of some like grainy maltiness from this tea too.
Huh. Yum. I think this steeping will be the beginning of the intense steepings here, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. I would think so. keep going on this.
So I'm hoping that this is going to have a little bit more texture, and bring out a little bit more complexity to the flavors.
Yeah. You can see each color is a little bit darker or a little bit deeper than the previous one. We're getting more of like a light red.
Yep.
Now.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. This doesn't have any of the storage taste at all.
A little bit fruitier. I'm continuing to sort of like get that base of like kind of like granary flavors is how I want to describe them.
Huh. Yeah. It's not creamy, but it's kind of has an oat flavors to it, which is weird because normally I associate like oats with almost like a creamy stout or something like that. But this has a little bit of a different thing going on here.
The body, it's still on the light end. It's thicker than the first tea, but I would think that this steep will be a little bit more viscous.
You know, I'm sitting here kind of like trying to place this tea and having a hard time. And I don't think it's because this tea is one of those like legendary, like, you know, I don't know the flavors of. I think I'm just not like, I'm not. This is going to happen with you dudes out there and ladies and old folks and gerbils who are watching.
Especially the gerbils.
You're gonna have your off day as a gerbil, and you're not gonna be able to to like really. And I think that's because I've had some allergies going on recently. So like my nose is a little bit plugged up, but I'm not getting a lot of the nuance out of this tea. And it's almost, as sad as it is, it's almost wasted on me in some sense today. I still enjoy there's all of the atmosphere of doing tea, right? Having sitting down with a friend or by yourself, celebrating the event, doing the event, etc. But in terms of the sabores, I'm a little off today. Speaking of sabores, we are very Adidas soccer.
Yeah, man,
today.
We're going to a soccer game after this. We're not going to a soccer game after.
Or football, you would say in Colombia. You know, I'm so piggybacking on and basically plagiarizing James entirely. I am getting the chocolate at the end of it. A little oaty. I'm not getting the fruit quite as much. It has a very herbal Chinese medicine shop aroma that I don't taste in the tea.
Yeah, the aroma definitely is not quite the same as the taste. Maybe we'll get a little bit more in this tea. But yeah. I want to call it sort of like that camphorated aroma, not quite in the taste yet. I think this steep is the 100%. The money steep.
Yeah, much better texture, thicker. It gives you a little bit more mouthfeel. Tasting the back of my throat now.
Yep. Still get that oatiness as you described it on the finish, especially.
I wouldn't categorize this as bitter, but it doesn't taste really sweet to me either. Mm-hmm. It has that chocolatey, that slight hint of chocolatiness at the end of it, but I wouldn't call it sweet. I would put this in the. I'm getting some vibes off of this for sure. Getting some energy, feeling my prefrontal cortex firing. Beautiful in terms of the liqueur, and I think that these next 5 steepings are going to be wonderful, full-bodied, great texture, and it's really impressive as you guys are noticing while we're talking that James is like steeping it for that was maybe 5 seconds. Yeah. And this teapot itself pours slowly, which is something to keep in mind.
Yep. And I mean, I think that's the main reason why you're talking about flash steep for these. It's right. Like, because you're going to be steeping it for, I don't know, 8 or 9 seconds no matter what. So right. 8 or 9 seconds is totally fine for the first 4 steeps or so.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm getting something different. now, or rather more, not necessarily different now that it's changed.
A little bit more tannic, maybe?
Yeah, I don't...
I struggle. I think I know what you're talking about, and I struggle to describe it too. It's not quite the same as bitter or astringent, but there's some sort of strength within the tea that causes a little bit of pucker.
Yeah, 100% coming through. Yeah, so like I was talking about earlier, my perception of the flavors today aren't that great. Maybe the nasty tea that we had earlier just screwed me over, but nevertheless, like, the experience of sitting and having tea is still so pleasant. This is still so enjoyable. So just for you folks out there who, you're not on with your vocab and talking about oceanic misty flavors and things like that.
You don't need that to enjoy tea.
You really don't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And what do you think about this tea in general compared to other more matured pu'erhs that we've had on the show recently?
I think it's really clean. I like that a lot about it. I think that it's got a really nice mid progression body. So some of the teas that we have are so strong, so intense, you kind of lose your ability to like taste the changes of the tea after a certain point. And this tea doesn't have that. It's kind of the middle of the road in terms of the texture, for me at least. I find it to be warming. And yeah, I mean, I think probably the biggest thing would be that for me, it tastes very clean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not tasting any of the storage or anything like that. Really pure flavors.
Yeah, and it's been fairly matured for 12 years of age, and it's clean. So, I mean, those are two very good things about this tea just from the get-go.
Yeah, how about you, James? What do you think?
Yeah, I think for me, if you guys remember the green peacock that we brought on, I would rate this tea beneath that, for sure. But I think it's kind of like Denny said, it's a nice, clean, matured drink to have. Very clean for Hong Kong storage. So I like the storage that's been done. I'm not a fan of the ulti maltiness or however you want to describe it. And it sort of sits in my mouth. I'm not a fan of that, but other than that, I do enjoy this tea.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
And for folks out there who do like that flavor profile, this will be a home run for you. All of the other bases are covered entirely with this tea. Yeah, really nice. So, James, if folks want to learn more about 12-year-old plus Pu'erh,
yeah, they should subscribe to TDB. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Periscope. We will occasionally show you random photos or random videos of stashes and large quantities of tea. And we never brew it all at once at the show. But maybe we will sometime. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to Toby for sending us this sample. Much appreciated. And we will see you guys next time. Cheers.
Cheers.